Breaking news coming out in the last 24 hours of attacks on U.S. water systems. That includes drinking water and wastewater systems. This out from the White House and the EPA. Take a look at the latest headlines coming out. Cyber attacks are targeting U.S. water systems, warns the EPA and the White House. Cyber attacks are hitting water systems throughout the U.S. Biden officials warn governors there's going to be a special meeting tomorrow with governors regarding protecting the water systems of the United States. White House, EPA warn water sector of cybersecurity threats. Iran may attack U.S. water supplies, warns the Biden administration. This coming out in the last 24 hours. Lifeline critical infrastructure systems face cybersecurity threat. And here is the official release from the EPA. Biden-Harris administration engages states on safeguarding water sector infrastructure against cyber threats. This coming out just yesterday in an official statement. And this comes as, take a look at this. We know they're in our networks. The CISA, who protects the United States against cyber attacks, officials say of a nation-state actor that's infiltrating U.S. critical infrastructure systems. However, I shared with you just recently, the CISA itself was hit by hackers, had to take key systems offline. The group responsible for protecting our infrastructure systems actually being hacked themselves. And this comes as the FBI director has been warning that Chinese hackers, they're preparing to wreak havoc on the U.S.'s critical infrastructure systems. And also we're hearing, as I mentioned, Iran, and they're saying a major attack is on the way. And we're already seeing that, as I've shared with you. Cyber attacks on hospitals are likely to increase, putting lives at risk, experts warn, and we've already seen pharmacies going down. So I've also shared with you that if you're somebody that wants some backup meds, I've got a link in the description below to lifesavervault.com and other resources as well, just in case we see these come to fruition. Now, I'm going to get you caught up on the latest so that way you can see it for yourself, what is actually unfolding in the last 24 hours. And please share this out, because for some reason, I am not seeing this on the mainstream news media. They're not sharing about the attacks on water systems that are coming out right now. So I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button if you appreciate the updates. Don't forget, hit subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so link in the description below to this article that just came out in the last 24 hours that reads, cyber attacks are hitting water systems throughout the U.S. Biden officials warn governors. Now, the article says that cyber attacks are hitting water and wastewater systems throughout the United States, and state governors and water facilities must improve their defenses against the threat. The White House and the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, warned U.S. governors on Tuesday yesterday. We need your support to ensure that all water systems in your state comprehensively assess their current cybersecurity practices, said the letter to the governors from the EPA Administrator Michael Regan and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. In many cases, Regan and Sullivan said, even basic cybersecurity precautions are not in place at water facilities and can mean the difference between business as usual and a disruptive cyber attack. Now, link in the description below to this article that came out in the last 24 hours that says Iran is poised to attack U.S. drinking water supplies. The Biden administration has warned amid rising tensions in the Middle East. Jake Sullivan, Joe Biden's national security advisor, sent a warning to state governors asking them to be on guard for potential cyber attacks on their critical infrastructure systems. The warning letter was co-authored by Michael Regan, the head of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, and made public on Tuesday yesterday. In it, they cited ongoing threats from hackers linked to the governments of Iran and China, and warned hackers associated with both states have previously attacked water systems. Attractive targets for hackers. Disabling cyber attacks are striking the water and wastewater systems throughout the United States. They warned that drinking water and wastewater systems were an attractive target for hackers because while they are lifeline critical, they often lack the resources and technical capacity to protect themselves from the potential attacks. We need your support to ensure that all water systems in your state comprehensively assess their current cybersecurity practices to identify any significant vulnerabilities, they told state governors. They went on to request that each state exercises plans to prepare and recover from a potential cyber incident. It comes after figures associated with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, the Iranian state security body, were identified by Washington as carrying out cyber attacks against critical U.S. infrastructure entities, including drinking water systems. The IRGC-linked hackers were able to target and disable a common type of operational technology used at water facilities where the facility had had neglected to change a default manufacturer password, according to the Biden administration. In late November, Iranian-backed hackers attacked Israeli-made digital controls commonly used in the water and the wastewater industry in the U.S., affecting several states, according to Bloomberg, although it did not affect water supplies. Now, potential to disrupt critical lifeline. Meanwhile, Volt Typhoon, a Chinese state-sponsored group, has also previously compromised drinking water and other critical infrastructure systems, the Biden administration letter warned. It stated, these attacks have the potential to disrupt the critical lifeline of clean and safe drinking water, as well as impose significant costs on affected communities. The U.S. government had assessed with a high degree of confidence that Volt Typhoon is pre-positioning to disrupt critical infrastructure operations in the event of rising tensions or military conflicts, the letter said. The water system is an especially vulnerable part of the U.S. infrastructure, fraught with weak controls, insufficient funding, and staffing shortages. Now, here's a look at the official letter released from the EPA. It says the Biden and Harris administration engages states on safeguarding water sector infrastructure against the cyber threats. And you're going to be seeing here, I'm just going to cover this briefly, that they're going to be having a meeting on this tomorrow. And it says, this was written yesterday. Today, March 19th, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Regan and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan sent a letter to all U.S. governors inviting state environmental, health, and homeland security secretaries to a convening by their deputies to discuss the urgent need to safeguard water sector critical infrastructure against cyber threats. This meeting will highlight current federal and state efforts to promote cybersecurity practices in the water sector, discuss priority gaps in their efforts, and emphasize the need of states and water systems to take immediate action. The virtual meeting will take place on Thursday, March 21st, 2024, tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And scrolling down a little bit further in the background, it says there are disabling cyber attacks that are striking water and wastewater systems throughout the United States. These attacks, carried out by countries and criminals, have the potential to disrupt the critical lifeline of clean and safe drinking water, as well as impose significant costs on affected communities. And just to clarify, the article says that they are being hit right now. And take a look at this. This coming out from the CISA in just the last 24 hours as well. We know they're on our network. CISA official says of nation-state actors infiltrating U.S. critical infrastructures. Nation-state actors are hiding on the IT systems of the U.S. critical infrastructure, waiting to hit, one cybersecurity official warned at a Washington event. And it says the U.S. government and its allies are increasingly worried about China's theft of intellectual property through cyber attacks. But even more alarming, according to the cybersecurity experts who spoke at the Billington State and Local Cybersecurity Summit in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, is China's use of artificial intelligence for espionage and the threat nation-state adversaries pose to the U.S. critical infrastructure. In the last 6 months, our incident response efforts have confirmed that the People's Republic of China cyber actors, they have been on our critical infrastructure networks for, in some cases, up to the last 5 years. Andrew Scott, Associate Director for China Operations at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, told the audience during a panel titled China in Your Digital Backyard. They have the access that they need, and if the order was given, they could disrupt some services in our country right now. And again, we're hearing that these cyber attacks, they could be coming here very soon on infrastructure systems in the United States. So please make any preparations that you feel are necessary for you and your family. I provided several resources in the description. I have created a free guide for electrical grids going down. Also, there's a newsletter in case communication systems go down. You can stay updated. And also, that medical kit is available as well. And I'm trying to provide more resources as well. I'll announce them as they come out. And in addition to that, we just recently heard Russian President Vladimir Putin come out and say that we are one step away from World War III with all of the conflict that is going on. And he gave a warning to the United States and to NATO, to all of the West, that we're one step away. Now, to get the latest on that, be sure to check out this video right here as I covered it in detail for you. And as I mentioned, as more comes out, I'll be sure to keep you up to date so that way you know exactly what's going on. But you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.